The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with Lerk and Deion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lerk. As always, well, can't even say as always anymore, but you already know I'm with the homies X and Deion. What's good, fellas? How's everything today? Deion, you good?
I'm chilling, bro.
X is chilling. That's my son is the most copacetic person I know. You, on the other hand, I don't know. You're a little volatile. We got a lot to talk about today. Your boys just played in the Super Bowl. Didn't end well for y'all. But before we get into that, let's take a shot. You already know. Now, what are you doing, X? Is that a thermos?
Yeah.
See, Lerk, that's the type of shit you get when you got money to have a Costa Rican wedding. You a little ways away from that.
A little ways.
I ain't even show y'all the suit, son. Yo, I'm gonna be the flyest nigga Costa Rica ever seen, bro. They're gonna stop me at customs. I'm like, nah.
Yo, listen.
I never seen this outfit like that before.
I was supposed to go to a wedding in April, but it's my cousin's wedding, but I refused to because it's on my birthday.
But yo, the shit you said about family events in the last 20 minutes is crazy, bro.
We're not gonna get into the first one, but nah. Hold on, how I'm wrong for not showing up to his wedding when he decided to plan it on the day where he got 3 cousins that it's their birthday?
Listen, bro.
It's disrespectful, bro. You should have did it a week later on your pop's birthday.
Real quick, because this is gonna let me know if you're a broke boy. What day of the week is the wedding?
Like a Thursday, I think.
Oh no, that's poverty. That's poverty.
What?
Like, bro, like
and I'm not going?
No, what I'm saying is like, if you get married on a Thursday, that's like
they getting married in the castle in Texas.
Yeah, but on a Thursday, that's how you get.
Bro. He's just cheap. He's just cheap. His fiance comes from bread, and then he works in corporate America. So it's just him being cheap, bro, and being raised in Highbridge. But he getting married in the castle. It's just the fact that you were disrespectful enough to plan it on my birthday, where it's just like. You're a dub, bro. Like, I'm not going. I got to save the date. I got to save the date magnet on my refrigerator. I told them I was going, but I'm not.
But I'm not. Say, yo, I'm not going. It's my birthday. Like, you know.
Nah, fuck all that. I'm a piece of shit.
You are, bro. Because I seen this TikTok about dudes that don't say whether they're going to a wedding or not, and you don't realize. I don't know if you've been married or not, Lerk, but you don't realize how much. I don't think like because you and I would have no idea. X is learning probably right now.
No,
but
bro,
you don't realize.
I know.
You say you cost them so much money by doing what you just did, bro. Like hundreds of dollars.
I'd have to clap you. Like now that I know, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, like reducing the list down is stressful as fuck, and then it's like you got to pay per person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I paid for you and then you don't show up. Like, nah, bro, you owe me at least 200 when you see me, like, you know what I'm saying? Or at least send me the 200 as a gift.
Well, that nigga could come get these hands then, because fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck, bro.
That's what I'm doing destination, bro. Like, show me your ticket.
You know what's fucked up is that I'm pulling up to your wedding.
Yeah, no. I mean, my shit gonna be lit.
I'm pulling, yeah, like, it's in Costa Rica. I would not go.
Yeah.
Well, if he was family,
I probably won't even see you all week, but to be there, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, Deion
nigga, Lerk gonna play the let out. Like, yo,
Deion got jokes. Man said if you was family, I wouldn't go.
That's funny.
Yo,
that is true though. That is true.
Yo, the crazy shit is that it's funny you say that because one of my cousins got married like 3-4 months right before us, and I wasn't gonna go to the wedding, but I was like, yo, if I don't go to his wedding, that's gonna be kind of fucked up because it's in New York, but I already got a trip booked to go to Canada for a wedding for somebody that's not even family. So I pulled up to his wedding.
All right.
Shit was ghetto as fuck, by the way. That was the most ghetto wedding you ever see, bro. That shit was in the storefront.
Listen.
We ain't gonna talk about it.
Tell me if there's some dickhead shit, because every time my shorty say it to people out loud, it make me sound like such a dick. But yo, wedding
you are a dick.
I mean, yeah, granted, but maybe not on this particular topic. But wedding planning mad stressful. So I'm like, look, you only allowed to talk to me about the wedding on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekend. You know what I'm saying? And like we honor that shit. Like Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday, like don't talk to me about the wedding. Like it's just a lot. And then when she say it to me, I'm like, I get it because I'm trying to manage my stress. But when she say it out loud, I'm like, ooh, that sound like I'm a monster. What y'all think? Y'all think I'm a dickhead for that?
Knowing you and knowing the type of work you do and how you always on the move, I would say no. But then at the same time, knowing you and knowing how much of a dick you are, I gotta say yes, because I feel like you just using everything else as an excuse because you're a piece of shit.
Bro, but like, bro, the plan, you gotta worry about every little detail, fam. And it's like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah.
So why don't you? So
I mean,
look, keep it a buck. Keep it a buck though. You don't give a fuck about half that shit.
but so here's what.
So then tell her that she can make the decision when it comes to a lot of
Oh no,
shit.
she did. The illest shit is
Here's why I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play
the
devil's
color
advocate
scheme.
for him. I'm gonna play a devil's advocate for you, X. I think you did her a favor that like no one is gonna realize because it's gonna go out of her mind on those 3 days too, and she can like she's like, okay, I'm gonna really put my effort into it on these days. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
if you're just constantly thinking about it, then it overwhelms you.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed.
Maybe you should use that as your selling point because that sounds like some good bullshit right there.
No, it's working. And then
no. Like he's right, but we know that that's not your intent behind it. But that's what I'm saying. Use that.
It's
shit
an unintended
consequence. You
consequence.
sound like less of a dickhead.
No, but look, I said, look, the only thing I care about is the color scheme because I'm not getting married in no bum ass gray or some bum ass colors. So my shit's gonna be fly. So I picked the color schemes. I even picked out the bridesmaids dresses, and them shits.
So what's
fire.
the colors we not allowed to wear?
Well, we went is navy blue, pink with gold accents. That's the colors. You know what I'm saying? You can wear whatever
what I
color
had
you want.
in mind is still valid then.
Nigga, you could pull up in all white. You in Costa Rica? Pull up in an all white Tony Montana suit for all I care. So it don't matter.
Nah, I want the emerald green. I need a dark green suit with the black shirt. And now since it's Costa Rica, I was going to do the bow tie, but since it's Costa Rica, I might have to just unbutton the shirt and let the taco me hang out with the chain.
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna be fly, son. Be fly and be ready to take something down. Cause I told her homegirls, they're getting thrown to the wolves, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be disappointed.
Listen, it's Costa Rica. I'm not even gonna say what I want to because we're on the airwaves right now. Let's get into this football game though. Super Bowl. That boy Mahomes got 3 now. Y'all called me crazy, and which was understandable. Y'all said I was wilding when I said a year ago that this man is already in the conversation of his own as far as all-timers go, and that he's not far from catching up and surpassing Brady. The boy got 3 rings, fastest to 3 rings.
I don't think any of us called you crazy for that.
Nah, y'all said I was. Nah, y'all said I was.
I'm listening for the part that I would have called you crazy at.
Nah, y'all said I was wild and that he still had a long way to go before he caught up to Brady.
I mean, he still does. Like, but
that's like saying he's a top 5 quarterback.
And I said rightfully so, but I feel like after yesterday, bro. Granted, he still got 1 less. After yesterday, I got him over Montana, bro.
Oh yeah, who cares? We're not talking about
Montana. So that makes him. So that has him at 2 already.
But that doesn't mean you're close to Brady.
Oh no, he's close to Brady, bro.
Here's the thing.
I say he's close to Brady because he's only 26 years old.
28.
But look, don't take nothing for granted because Marino got to the Super Bowl his rookie year and then he never saw the Super Bowl again. Look, I'll say this.
Been there fucking what? 4 times, 5 times, 4 times in 5 years, 6 years.
Look, come on. I feel you. All I'm saying is, it's like the MJ LeBron debate. It's like, is LeBron a more talented player, done some shit we've truly never seen? Yeah, but MJ got the rings. Do I think that Mahomes is a more talented quarterback than Brady at this point? Yeah, I mean, he the illest motherfucker I ever seen. But when somebody got that many rings, like,
seven is a long way to go. 7 is a long way to go, granted. But between the individual accolades and the fact that he did this fast.
But Brady did it faster.
Brady, no, what? Because it was what, 3 and 4
for Brady, right? And this is
Yeah,
3 and
3 and
6
4.
for 3 and
Oh,
6.
my bad. He's my bad. He wasn't the quickest to 3 rings. He was the quickest to the what is it, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 5 Super Bowl
Oh yeah,
appearances.
I mean we're not talking
Quickest.
about
He's the quickest to 5.
Sports Center stats, bro. I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Nah, because they was talking about it during the game and it fucked my head up because I was like, nah, what? I didn't even realize that. Talk about Sports Center stats. Something that fucked my head up. All 3 Super Bowls, double-digit comeback victories. That's impressive as fuck.
Bro,
That's
like,
impressive as fuck.
The Niners fans that I was with were like, yo, it's a rap, it's a rap. I'm like, bro, I've seen this so many times. I'm like, get hype. Because unless, bro, you got to chop their head off. If Mahomes is within 14 points, it just feels like it's inevitable.
Not for nothing. It was self-inflicted wounds that cost them that game yesterday.
What was the score? It was it 13-3 or 17-6?
When? Yesterday?
When no, what was the double-digit lead? 17-6 or 13-3?
Yesterday 13-3. It was 10-0.
No, it was 10-0.
Well, yeah, it was 10-0. Yeah, it was early. It was an early 10-point lead. Yeah.
It was 10. It was 10-0, then it was 13-3.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think about like when it was because I know the previous Super Bowl we were up 10 late, and I just wasn't sure if this was like so that's like what, the first quarter, second quarter?
The second quarter. Nobody scored in the first. But at halftime it was 10-3. They kicked the field goal right before half. But but it don't matter when it was in the game, to be honest, to me, because when you look back on his legacy, when it happened isn't gonna matter. It's the fact that this has happened in every Super Bowl he's played in so far. And like to X's point, when he was like that he was with 49ers fans and he was talking about it's over. How can you say that after last year? The Eagles were violating them last year and ended up losing. This is reminiscent, obviously not to the same extent, but this is reminiscent of the Patriots versus the Falcons, bro. Like,
honestly, talking about Mahomes at this point,
you can't count out certain quarterbacks, bro, until there's no more time on the clock.
Not for nothing, I find that Mahomes talk boring in a way because it's like, bro, he's the illest. Like, we know it. I think that Chris Jones deserves so much fucking credit because without him, they don't win.
Are you talking about after they was up 10-0 and Chris Jones pulled everybody together and had a meeting on the sideline?
Bro, he was single-handedly disrupting the fucking Niners. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just wreaking havoc. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of the stuff that, because honestly,
I wouldn't say he did that single-handedly though, because one, Nick Bolton was going crazy yesterday. The secondary was on their A game, and then what's that other dude's name that started with a T? He got the long hair.
Trent McDuffie. I didn't think the secondary.
No. That it's the dude on the Chiefs. His last name started with a T. He a linebacker with the curly hair.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
about. He stopped McCaffrey in the backfield a couple times. Like the whole I can't give Chris Jones all the credit. I'm not gonna say he's single-handedly. Chris Jones is a monster though. I'm not taking away from nothing you said other than the fact that he single-handedly did anything.
I could be wrong, but on that one,
the last play in overtime.
And I want to say on that third down, it was 3rd and goal when the Chiefs could have really got it out of hand. And I think he got to Purdy just enough to where he had to overthrow. I think it was Debo or Ayuk, and then they forced the field goal. But yeah, so if Chris Jones didn't get there, like when he got there, and Brett Purdy made a lot of key plays, the game is. I'm not gonna say it's over because it is Mahomes, but the chances of the Chiefs winning is a lot lower. And it's like just enough negative plays, right? He gets in the backfield, or he tackles McCaffrey for a loss, or he just stops the run on a critical play. Like Chris Jones was a monster, and that's the thing. Like I mean, we could talk about this months later, but he's a free agent. They're gonna have to drop a bag on him because remember he held down.
Didn't he go through the holdout with them before?
They gave him like an extra 1.5 or 2 million in incentives for this year, and he came back. But they're going to have to throw the illest bag at him in the offseason. And I don't know if the Chiefs cap situation will allow him to do that. But either way,
I think they have a lot of cap, bro. I think they have a lot. Because this is the first year that Tyreek Hill's completely off the books.
Okay. But yeah, I
actually think they have a lot of cap.
When Mahomes,
somebody I want to talk about is Brock Purdy. Oh, wait, Deion, you got something to say?
Well, I thought a lot of what Chris Jones did was Spagnuolo. I don't want to say he cooked Shanahan because if you watch, like I rewatched the game today, and everything Shanahan called like worked to perfection, bro. Like Niners receivers ran open the whole game. I thought Ayuk cooked Snead, who I was saying prior to was like the best corner in the league. Specifically on the last play was crazy. I mean, the numbers with Ayuk never speak for themselves, but how open he is so often is crazy. I just think when Feliciano went down, that's our right guard, like it put more pressure on Purdy to call out pass protections pre-snap. And I mean, he said himself, bro, like he botched that shit a lot. And if you watch that last play in overtime, the new right guard pulled thinking Chris Jones was playing inside, and Purdy should have pointed Chris Jones out pre-snap. He lined up outside, and he ran in untouched. Ayuk was wide open. Jawan Jennings was wide open. At the end of the game in the fourth quarter, the 3rd and 4 play that got batted down, Ayuk ran wide open over the middle. We max protected with 6. The Chiefs blitzed 6. Purdy didn't pick up McDuffie. He ran in untouched and was in the eyesight of where Ayuk was going to be. So I just think for as much credit as like some of those Chiefs defensive players in the battle of Spagnuolo versus Purdy, Spagnuolo won by a lot.
Oh, of course. Like that goes without being said. Spagnuolo is a fucking genius. What is he? A 4-time, 5-time champion now? As just a defensive coordinator?
I'm not sure.
How many?
He
got 2 with the Giants.
Yeah.
I think he was
And
with
then
the
he
Chiefs
got
last
2.
year.
He got 2 or 3 with the Chiefs.
I don't think he was there the first
Spagnuolo
year.
did. So if you look, right, I think
He's great at
everybody looks at
disguising.
Shanahan and they look, oh, this is the 3rd time that he's lost a double-digit lead. Why doesn't he run the ball? Because they were running the ball so effectively in the first half. Why did he do that in the second? But if you look, they were stacking the box and putting a bunch, like 7, 8 people on the line of scrimmage on first down. And at that point, Purdy has to fucking call a pass play, right? It would be irresponsible to run into that kind of front, and doing so would have been, it would have, So I think that's what forced them to pass the ball. It wasn't necessarily that Shanahan was calling run plays, is that Spagnuolo was giving them looks where they had to pass the ball, and Darren like, yo, you can't run into this. You're not an idiot. So you're gonna audible and you're gonna pass, and then we're gonna hope to get an incompletion, bat a ball down, whatever.
I forgot.
We keep running the ball down our throats.
Yeah,
like that's what I
who it was. Somebody told me today they ain't like the 49ers play calling.
Yeah.
Like, why not? I'm like, they used a lot of misdirection and it worked well. The problem was that they got Purdy under duress in the second half, and they had a lot of self-inflicted wounds. The offensive penalties and then the fumble was costly. It was momentum killers.
But like I don't think I mean, so 2nd and 5 on that final drive in regulation, Shanahan should have ran the ball. But the 3rd and 4 call worked. Purdy has to pick up McDuffie. And then everyone wanted him to run the ball on that final play in overtime. But like I think you can only run the ball there if you're gonna go for it on 4th, which with how great the defense played all game, I don't know how you go for it on 4th down there. Like the defense played phenomenal. I know it's Mahomes, and like that's the thinking you should have. But I feel pretty confident up 3 with the way the defense played, stopping them from going 75 yards. And it just took some phenomenal individual efforts by Mahomes on that drive. Not with his arm, but with his legs. And like if that's how you're gonna lose, I think you have to live with that. But I mean, I think post snap, Purdy was phenomenal yesterday, but pre snap, he was as bad as you could be, and that cost them the game.
I think it was just a great chess match, honestly. Like a lot of people are like, yo, this is boring, this is whack.
I thought it was a great game. Even in the
both
beginning,
sides had
there was
great
no
game
scoring.
plans.
Like when there was no scoring in the first quarter, I enjoyed every second of it because it was defenses dominating and battles being won in the trenches. Like that whole first quarter was an old school fucking football game. And that shit started getting real messy and physical. Like, how can you not, as a football fan, how can you not enjoy what we saw yesterday?
Because most people are casuals, but like you see some of the play calling, like the Chiefs ran this one screen, and it was just perfectly because they anticipated that the Niners were going to blitz. They knew what side they were going to blitz from, and they just threw a screen right into that blitz. And just like, bro, that's all just it. They're just playing fucking chess out there. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking about in overtime, right?
Yeah, it was just
Yeah, that's what makes me pissed about Purdy is what you just said. That was Mahomes. Like Reed called a run play there. You can see Mahomes go to the line and go like this. He checked into a screenplay and pushed the side of the line over to where we were blitzing from. Like it sounds crazy. Like it sounds crazy to be like, yo, Brock Purdy missed the blitz and that cost us the game. But like when you're playing Patrick Mahomes, when you're playing in the Super Bowl, bro, like the margin for error is like literally that thin.
Oh no, yeah. Like I disagree about you like saying that Purdy cost you the game, but I understand your point though, because like you said, you going up against Mahomes. This is a do or die situation. This is the biggest stage of them all. This is a stage that most people don't ever get to set foot on. And he made some crucial mistakes pre-snap, but like post-snap, Purdy played way better than I expected.
in the fourth. In the second half.
Especially in the fourth, even in overtime too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the only
phenomenal.
time I feel like I didn't watch the game twice like you, Deion, but I feel like any bad throw I saw Purdy make, there was 2-3 defenders in his face. He was trying to make a play out of nothing or trying to get the ball out before he got knocked on his ass. Like he didn't make many mental mistakes post snap. Like he played about as well as you could have asked him to play.
Look, Shanahan could call the perfect. I think that's why Reed and Mahomes work so well. Reed could call the illest play you've ever seen dialed up. But it's on Mahomes to look at the defense, read it, see if the look that he's looking at is going to work. And if not, to change out of it. And to Deion's point, I just think that too often Purdy fucked up the coverages. And when you see people running crossing routes wide open, or you see someone up the seam wide open, but Purdy can't get it there, it's not because Purdy's ass. It's because that defender's in his face and he can't take that split second and step into the throw and deliver the ball accurately. And that all leads back to calling the right pickups, blitz pickups.
It took Mahomes and Andy Reid a little while to figure out Steve Wilkes' defensive scheme and what he was trying to do and how he was disguising shit. But once they figured it out, they started to slowly pick them apart the rest of the game. Now, here's my question for you, Deion, because you, as a 49ers fan, you've always been very critical of. You're one of the few people that ain't afraid to say something negative about Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers fan base. What'd you feel about his decision to receive the ball in overtime? Because that has been one of the most talked about topics. And I don't feel like it's as serious as people making it seem.
Nah, he didn't know the rules, bro. He said in his post-game interview that
they deflected the analysts.
No, he said his words were, "I would have liked to score a touchdown there. That way Mahomes doesn't get the ball back."
But he said that he also said that they spoke to the analytics department and they conferred with other people and everybody had the consensus that taking the getting the ball first was the best thing to do, but they didn't fully understand the rules because it's their first time going into it.
I mean, whether you would have done it again if you knew the rule or not, it's very clear that they didn't know the rules.
But so whether they knew the rules or not, how did you feel about the decision? Do you feel like is as serious as the media is making it seem? Because it's come under a lot of controversy. Now, me personally, I feel like either way, the goal should always be to score a touchdown. And that's one. Two, it was just Mahomes being Mahomes that made that they lost that game. They had to convert a fourth down. And Mahomes made it happen with his legs.
But that's why taking the ball first is bad, because Mahomes said himself they would have punted like there if they got the ball first. You know what I mean? He said He said we knew we had 4-down territory every series. So I mean, I guess that's not him saying he would have punted the ball there, but like that puts a lot of pressure on your defense to stop the best quarterback, arguably of all time, 4 straight times. Maybe you get him into and honestly, in my opinion, anything under 10 yards is convertible for a guy like Mahomes. So like if you got him into 3rd and 7, where if you gave them the ball first, they definitely would have punted in that situation. Now a 3rd and 7 for Patrick Mahomes, knowing he has 2 downs, is not that big of a deal because 4th and 7 isn't that big of a deal to him. So, but at the same time, I wasn't on the sideline. I think the argument, if you were to make one, which I didn't hear Shanahan make, which is why I think it was a bad decision, I would venture to guess that defense was gassed after that final drive. So I could see a situation where you're like, yo, put the offense out there. They go on a super long drive. I believe it was 7 minutes and some change.
And he actually said the opposite.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He didn't.
He said they took it first because they trusted the defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't know the rules. He didn't know the rules. He point blank didn't know the rules. But I think the argument would have been to get your defense some rest. But like I said, he didn't know the rules. So I want to accept that argument.
Yeah, because the game ended with the regulation ended with the Chiefs kicking the field goal, right?
Yeah, from like the 2 or 3 yard line. I think I don't know, man. Like I do think the game falls. You said it was wrong of me to say the game falls on Purdy. I think Purdy played as good of a game as Brock Purdy can play, and that's also the issue.
Well, I mean, but this is why I say it's wrong of you to say that, right? First quarter, McCaffrey doesn't fumble that ball. You end up scoring a touchdown. You keep the momentum going. The defense was solid, but that's a momentum killer right there. He fumbles the ball in the red zone.
He fumbled the ball. It was from first off, it was on the 30. I'm like 2nd down. And second
was it in the 30?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we might have got a field goal, we might have scored a touchdown, but it wasn't close. Pacheco fumbled on the 6.
If the extra point doesn't get blocked,
yeah, sure.
It doesn't even go to overtime.
The defense, you said the defense was solid. A momentum shift. The Chiefs went 3 and out 3 straight times after that fumble.
But what about the 49ers? I'm talking about the offense though. I'm saying I said the defense was solid the whole time, but that killed the offense's momentum.
But yeah, Purdy.
And then the following drive after that, you had like 2 or 3 offensive penalties on the same drive.
But Purdy said those were his fault. Like that's what I'm saying.
It's his fault that the offensive lineman is holding.
We only had 1 holding call. He was talking about the pre-snap penalties, like the false starts were his fault, which we had multiple of. Even the first drive, coming out of the halftime, Mahomes throws a pick, and then we go incomplete on first down. He missed a man wide open, and then he caused Aaron Banks the false start to make it 2nd and 15. Like, I mean, like I said, to the naked eye, I think Brock Purdy played as good of a game as you can play, but that's also the issue. Like, you can't hold Brock Purdy to the standard that Brock Purdy is when you're playing Patrick Mahomes. You have to hold him to Patrick Mahomes' standard, and he didn't show up in that manner.
And that was something that Tony Romo said that I thought was probably one of the realest shits he probably ever said in his life. And he said it from the beginning. He kept saying it throughout the game, throughout the entire game. He kept saying it. Brock Purdy looks good, but can he still look good when Mahomes puts the pressure on you? Because you can always look good when you ahead of Mahomes, when you got the lead. But how you gonna look when Mahomes overtakes the lead? Because eventually he will.
Now that's
what do you call it? How you gonna look when assholes get tight?
But that's when I thought Brock Purdy played his best, though.
He played phenomenal.
That's when I thought he was at his best.
Other than the pre-snap botches, like once the ball was in his hands, he played phenomenal.
But like once Mahomes took the lead, Purdy led us on 3 drives that took the lead back with under like 10 minutes in the 4th quarter and overtime. Like I thought, like that's not my issue with him. It's a lot of the pre-snap stuff. I know I saw some stuff on Twitter that like maybe the right guard just missed Chris Jones on that final play. I don't know. In my opinion, whether like he was supposed to do what he did or not, Purdy needs to point out Chris Jones to him to where you don't even have the ability to make that mistake. Because that's the best defensive player on the other side, right? Like you never saw Mahomes not point at Fred Warner once. Like everyone knew where Fred Warner was on every single play. You need to do the same thing with Chris Jones. And I think once the ball was in his hands, he was phenomenal. But to getting there cost us the game, and it just is what it is. It just is what it is.
All right, before we move on from football and start talking about the NBA trade deadline, take turns answering this question. Will the 49ers be back in the Super Bowl next year?
I mean, yeah, but they're not going to win.
Is it going to be a rematch and they lose again?
I don't think they can beat Burrow either. I honestly don't think they can beat Allen.
Burrow's not as inevitable as Mahomes.
But like the thing is, here's the thing: like this Chiefs team wasn't good, right? The type of defense that Shanahan kills is a man defense. They have no wide receivers. They have to run the ball. That's
Does
what the
this
Niners
not
want.
remind you of like the early Brady years?
It doesn't remind me of the early Brady years. It reminds me of
kicker.
It reminds me of the Rams one in like 18.
What Rams won? The Stafford Rams?
The golf.
There's no way you're talking about Kurt Warner.
No, the golf Rams.
You talking about the 49ers or the Chiefs?
The Chiefs, no, this Chiefs team reminds me of the Patriots team that played the golf Rams, where they had all the cap room coming up, they had all the picks coming up, and they threw it in this year, and then Brady just got them there and they won the game. That's what Mahomes did this year. This team wasn't very good. They're gonna be really fucking good next year. They have all the caps. They're gonna have a number one receiver. They'll probably have Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice is gonna be a fucking monster next year, bro.
Yeah. And they're gonna sign multiple receivers. Joe Thuney's probably not gonna miss the Super Bowl next year. That's an all-pro guard they're missing. They're gonna be able to continue to add to that defense. Like this was a throwaway year for the Chiefs. The roster itself isn't very good, and they still did it. So like I think, yeah, the Niners got there, but
that's what, like when you talk about the future of their team given the cap space, I get it, but everything else you said is why I said the early years of the Brady Patriots, because his supporting cast wasn't that good. Like before the Moss years, you can you name off the top of your head right now who his number one receiver was in those early Super Bowls?
Troy Brown.
And who's his number two?
Well, yeah, Deion Branch for one.
Deion, and what did Deion? Troy Brown is Troy Brown. He played with him the whole time, I believe. What did Deion Branch do without Brady?
I mean, not much, but like he also had a bunch of he had good running backs. I think Corey Dillon.
Oh yeah, Corey Dillon. He had Corey Dillon for a while,
and a great offensive line, and a historically good defense too.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at the Chiefs. He has a solid running back, nothing crazy. Travis Kelce, and then he's playing everybody else up.
I think the difference is like those early Brady years, I wouldn't necessarily say like.
The only difference is that those Patriots relied on the defense a little more.
Yeah, this team relied on Mahomes. They don't get there without anybody but Mahomes. I'm not saying like the Patriots would have won with anybody, but there's multiple quarterbacks they would have won with besides
funny shit, even with Mahomes, they only made it to the Super Bowl because of their defense.
That's not true.
Look who the Dolphins, the Ravens.
There's
the Ravens, and then now the 49ers. Their defenses sunned every single one of those offenses.
Yeah, the defense played great, but Mahomes. I mean,
here's the difference. Hold on, real quick. Here's the difference. With those other quarterbacks, if the game script gets away from them, they're cooked. If you put Lamar Jackson down 10 points, he's cooked. You put Tua down 10 points, he's cooked, right? Because then they can't throw you off with play action and running the ball and all that. With Mahomes, there is no game script that he can't overcome. If he's down 14, it don't matter. Mahomes, you are not taking away his ability to beat Patrick Mahomes. These other quarterbacks, if you get them down early enough, that's it. Their entire game plan falls apart. So that's why Mahomes is the only one that is just inevitable. It don't matter what the circumstances is. You give him the ball, and if he has an opportunity to go down and either get a field goal or a touchdown.
Sounds like you're just trying to take away credit from the defense.
No. It just goes to speak that as a quarterback, it's like Lamar Jackson. Let's be honest. If Lamar Jackson had the ball with a minute 10 and had to go down and get you a touchdown, how confident you feel in Lamar Jackson? Not very. He won MVP. He won MVP.
We talking about the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna say not very confident.
Let's say Josh Allen. He's great. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good.
I'm feeling good. Not as good as Mahomes. Obviously, not as good as if it's Mahomes, but I feel good if I got Josh Allen as my quarterback.
A minute 10 to go get you a touchdown.
I feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he wouldn't, but that's all I'm saying is just that's why, like, I just feel like you don't have, like, with other quarterbacks, your defense doesn't have to be phenomenal. All they got to do is just allow you to get enough of a cushion, and then that's it. Then they can just be one-dimensional in their game plan, and they can shut other quarterbacks down. You can't do that to Mahomes, bro. It don't matter what you try and do. He's good enough to figure you out. And I just think he's fucking the best ever, honestly, him and Brady.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you just said.
I just think he's much better than that early Brady was. I don't really think that's...
I think he's much better than any version of Brady, talent-wise.
No, I mean, not just talent. I mean, like, results-wise than that early Brady. But I don't agree with any version because I saw somewhere, like, if he were to play till 40 right now and he did his career highs in every statistic, he wouldn't be anywhere near Brady by the end of that. Like, bro, what Brady did is, like, it's nuts, man.
No,
it's really
nuts. Insane. What makes it crazier, to me, the craziest part about Brady's career is that he played with 2 Hall of Famers at the skill position. And one of them, it wasn't even in his prime.
Randy was in his prime.
No, he wasn't. If he was, that's the back end.
I mean, that's the best year of his career.
But because of Brady.
Because he had Brady.
I mean, he played with Dante Culpepper. It's not like he played with the
Bomb. Yeah, a while before that. He was also on the Raiders for like 2 or 3 years before he ended up with bro, he was in the league for a minute before he was with Brady.
I mean, he was still Moss.
He was. I'm not saying he wasn't still great, but he wasn't in his prime anymore. He was no longer in his physical prime.
My bad. I'm watching the. Are you watching?
And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't even in one of those years Brady missed because of injury.
Yeah, I mean, and he had 1,000 yards without Brady, by the way.
Yeah, bro, it's Randy Moss. That's a generational player. All I'm saying is that he was not in his. To me, Randy Moss is the greatest receiver of all time. Can't tell me no different. But that don't mean that he was in his prime years when he played with Brady.
I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard to argue what you're arguing for with any
but that's besides the point though. That's besides the point. Brady played with the Patriots for how many years? And the only Hall of Famers at the skill position he had was Moss and Gronk. And he put up those numbers. That's what makes him so great to me.
I mean, if you count Ocho. Because Ocho for sure getting in the Hall of Fame.
But Ocho did what with Brady?
Not much. But, like, it's really hard to argue your
Moss. They didn't really play together, to be honest.
There's zero evidence.
And him didn't really play together over there.
There's zero evidence towards your Moss point, though. But that's neither here nor there.
How old was Moss?
I think it was like 27, 28. Like, and he had the best year of his career. And then probably the most impressive thing he did was getting 1,000 yards into a wild card game with Matt Castle. Like, how much more impressive does it get than that?
No, we're not arguing Moss's greatness.
But I'm just saying, like, you have to be in your prime to do that. Because, like you said,
30 when he got to New England.
Because, like you said, there was no Hall of Famers on the roster. So, like, that year with Matt Castle, it was just him. Like, that's it.
Yo, bro played 10 years in the NFL before he got to the Patriots. You cannot tell me he was still in his physical prime.
Like I said, there's no evidence based behind what you're saying other than, like, what you're saying. But, like, because Brady was in his prime at, what, 38?
Brady is a quarterback that
never... You're not going to... Come on, Deion. That's a bad point. I'm with you.
What?
I feel
Like
you.
what are we doing here?
I'm just saying, like, people get to their prime at different times. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And Moss hit his prime way before that.
Again, there's no evidence to that.
You said that was the best year of his career. The only career
But
best that year was touchdown.
Even if Moss, look, I agree with looking at was Moss the same player he was at 22. Physically, no. But even Moss with a step back is head and shoulders above.
Oh no, I agree.
So
That's what I was saying. Like,
that's
all I was saying was that he wasn't in his prime no more. He was still great. He still wasn't at the peak of his powers though. That's all. Both can be true, and both, and like I said, that's besides the fact. The main point was that he played. Brady was the starting quarterback of the New England Patriots for 50,000 years and only played with 2 Hall of Famers at the skill position.